Welcome to Sold Out Sales School, the podcast for women with heart-led, impact-driven offers who are tired of being the internet's best-kept secret. I'm Trish Ware, mom of 7, former labor nurse turned 7-figure business owner and business mentor for B2C brands. If you're marketing to moms, parents, or real people who are not going to make money off your offer, this show was made for you. You tried the big name coaches, but their strategies weren't built for your audience. Here, we do sales differently. No bro marketing, no cold DMs, no weird hooks, no fake urgency, just clear messaging, aligned offers, and strategy that actually converts. You're not here to hustle harder and miss all your family events. You're here to scale smarter with simplicity. So let's get you sold out. Hello, everyone. Okay, so we're going to talk really briefly, short, because I am in the middle of a launch right now over on Labor Nurse Mama, but I figured I would share with you guys what I do when we launch a digital offer, including what I did at the very beginning when I first started. So my name is Trish. A lot of people know me as Labor Nurse Mama. I was a long time labor and delivery nurse, 16 years, you guys. And in 2017, I launched my baby, Labor Nurse Mama. I had my blog and I focused on Pinterest. I mastered Pinterest. And then in 2019, I turned my focus to Instagram and invested lots of money to learn what I know. And I have built a very successful business inside of the birth education space. And the reason I tell you that is because a lot of people are trying to learn how to grow their Instagram, how to build a multiple 6-figure business like mine, but they're trying to learn it from people who have only grown on Instagram by teaching other business owners. There's a big difference between what works if you're teaching people who are going to make money by what you do and what works with people who are going to consume what you do. So for me, my audience it's mamas, right? It's families. So what works for them does not necessarily work for someone who is a business owner. So I really want you guys to understand that the strategies and the things that I use specifically with social media are ones that work especially well. You can use it with business owners because that can be applied both ways. But what you need to teach to a consumer and to market to a consumer is much different than what you use to market to someone who wants to make money. Even the terminology that you use is completely different. So what we're going to talk about is what I consider to be 4 crucial steps that will help you create, launch, and sell out your offers. And just to give a little credence, when I built my birth course, which everything I'm telling you guys today, I've done. When I launched my very first offer, it was to the tune of $24,000, which was, I mean, that's like a quarter of what I made as a labor nurse for a year. I mean, that's like the core. If I worked 3 travel jobs, 3 months, right? That was what I made as a travel labor and delivery nurse. So it was pretty nice to make that in a week. And now sometimes I make $24,000 in a day when we launch. So I just want to share that. I don't like to post all the money I make because it's not really about money for me. It's more about the impact. So when you decide that you want to launch a digital offer, you have to be nailed down on who you're talking to. It cannot be watered down. So when I nailed my audience, which is pregnant women, pretty dialed down, but it's even beyond that. I'm not talking to all pregnant women. I'm talking to a specific group of pregnant women. So my course speaks to a very specific group of pregnant women. So the very first step, write this down. This is really important because a lot of people don't even realize that they are not doing this, is to be very targeted. So if you are launching let me think of something off the cuff. Let's say you're launching a weight loss course. Okay. Yeah, a lot of people want to lose weight, but you know how you make it sell out? Do you know how you make it get you thousands of dollars a day is by deciding you're going to be specifically for someone. So instead of a weight loss course, maybe your course is a how to lose weight for women over 50. Right? That's very nailed down. Or how to lose weight if you have thyroid issues. Again, very nailed down. That is the difference between an offer that just sits there and, brews and an offer that flies off the shelf is by nailing it down, dialing down. If you are too broad, you won't attract anyone. It doesn't resonate with people and it doesn't sell. So you have to conduct surveys, you have to do interviews, market research. And I teach all of this inside of my coaching mastermind, of course, how to do your market research, how to outline your demographics, your pain points, the desires of your BFE is what I call them, not your ideal client, their buying behavior, what are they consuming? Where are they hanging out? All of those things matter. Then you have to be consistently engaging with your people. You do have to be consistent. So let's say your platform of choice, pick one platform, you guys. Do not try to go to 50 different platforms. One platform. So let's say it's Instagram. That's my jam. So we'll talk about Instagram. If your platform is Instagram, you need to be consistently posting. You need to have content. Now, I'll just be real. People who say you can post 3 times a week and grow, they're not telling the truth. It's not going to happen. You need to be posting every day during a growth stage. I'm going to show you what we do before we launch on Labor Nurse Mama and the numbers we get. So these are my stories that when we are launching. So this has been the last 30 days. We've gone hard in the stories. We're very intentional. And these are the numbers that we get when we're in launch mode, right? Getting ready for launch. You want to be intentional. I have a very specific science for getting these kind of numbers on my stories. And there is a science to getting stories and increasing your views, but it all starts with showing up regularly. So I always tell my girls that social media is like a coffee shop. And if you go to the same coffee shop every single morning, right, on your way to work, and you order the same coffee, eventually the baristas are going to know, they're going to be like, hey, Trish, do you want your skinny latte or whatever you're getting? It's the same thing with social media. You're not just showing up for the people you want to talk to, you're showing up for the algorithm, and you're telling the algorithm, hey, this is what I'm going to order every day, AKA my niche. So serve it up to me. Give it to me before I even walk in the door. That's what you want to do. So you have to use your social media wisely, and you have to make sure that you're dialed in on your niche. Again, I'll show you. Let me see. This is what my last month has looked like as I've dialed in, really been consistently. Now, I've been posting 3 times a day on Labor Nurse Mama as we lead up to open cart. And you can see it's paid off. We do use ads at this point, and anybody who tells you that you never have to use ads, they don't want to scale. To scale from 6 to 7 figures, you have to use ads, plain and simple. So you have to engage with them. You have to show up consistently. If you want to be in a period of social media growth, you need to be posting with strategy, not willy-nilly, 3 times a day. That's going to give you the best growth. 2 times a day is going to give you growth as well. But 3 times a day will blow it up if you are doing it the right way. If you have your messaging dialed in the way that your ideal person speaks, if you have a strategy and a content plan, you're going to grow. Posting willy-nilly will never grow you. So the next step, which I want to talk about, is the runway. So I alluded to that. We are very intentional before we launch the courses or open enrollment or launch a new offer. So we have what we call our launch runway. And this is entirely to build excitement and get your audience ready. So as you're in your launch runway, you're going to share behind the scenes. You're going to preview the offer. I will share like embarrassing outtakes with my audience. I get on there and I tell them how exhausted I am because, oh my God, I'm planning for this open enrollment and I'm excited for you guys. My audience knows that I love them, and my students are all over the place saying how much I love them and invest in them. You use countdowns. You use major announcements to create excitement. excitement. You get your list excited. If you don't have a list, shame on you, because that is your most valuable tool that you have, and you engage in them. So one thing I do consistently, well, several things, I post daily. I also do a weekly Q&A where I put up a question sticker in my stories, and then I answer them throughout the week. I interact with my content. We answer every comment. We answer every DM. And we get upwards of 500 DMs a day, you guys. 500, okay? And we engage with our audience. Now, I don't answer all of those. They assign the ones to me that they feel that maybe needs my labor and delivery expertise, or maybe just a little extra love. That goes to me. Utilize your platforms, your list, to create a buzz before you launch. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is just being very intentional with your content. And I showed you my numbers that I have for my content. So in a launch runway, we're getting millions of views. Okay. We'll go from our normal. So we go from 1 to 2 million to like 7 to 10 million. And we do that intentionally. And the reason we don't have 7 to 10 million when we're not a launch runway is because it's exhausting. It's really exhausting. But we nurture in between. We nurture and we build relationships and we nurture them. So you want to make sure you have a content calendar. This is why if you join my Insta Experts class or my coaching mastermind, we're going to really create a content calendar that aligns with you and your launch timeline. You want to share content that educates and nurtures and builds excitement. So how do you get more eyes? Reels. How do you nurture? Carousels and in-feed posts, lives, stories, and building relationship through comments and DMs. I make the majority of my sales in my DMs and in my stories, if that tells you anything. So make sure that every piece of content serves a purpose, and it should line up with your content pillars. It should lead your audience where you want them to go, which is closer to your launch. Now, hopefully you get to a place where you're in an evergreen mode, where you're constantly leading them to your digital offer. But this is when you first start and you're launching. Now, we have our offers open all year, and we do little strategies throughout the week for them, but we do 4 to 6 times a year, we do a big strategy that gets more and more eyes. And yesterday we had hundreds join us. So you want to really have a robust strategy, and this is going to maximize your reach and your conversions, because it's all about the conversions, whether it's converting them to followers, converting them to students or members. So make sure you're hosting live classes, or AKA webinars. I hate saying webinars, masterclass, workshop, training, whatever. I hate the word webinar, so that you're providing value and showcasing your expertise. You want to go live. We go live every Thursday on both accounts. I say we, someone in my pocket, but I go live. I share stories, and my stories are where I show that I'm a person and I can relate to them. And that keeps my momentum going. And then I post consistently. Like I said, when we're in launch mode, 2 to 3 times a day, typically 3, usually 1 reel, 2 in feed, or 2 reels and 1 in feed. And then I use live interactions, stickers, and my stories to build trust and answer their questions. I do a lot of my DMs with my voice, and I do a lot of my answers to those stickers with video, so they get to know me. So just to recap, you have to identify your target audience, create a runway, a launch runway, and then you have to be intentional with your content and have a solid strategy. Hopefully you found this helpful. If you're ready to freaking go hard, then you can message me and I can tell you about my coaching mastermind. That's really where the most power is. All right, you guys, have an amazing afternoon. Okay, if this episode hit home, please do me a favor, share it with one other business owner, subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss the next episode, leave a review if you're feeling a little generous. It really means a lot and it helps us. And follow me on Instagram at I am Trish Ware for daily real talk about building businesses that actually work. And every 6 to 8 weeks, we do what we call is the sold out offer challenge. You can always sign up as a VIP at all times. The first 5 who sign up for the next challenge, get a one-on-one call with me, which normally costs thousands. So go to trishwarecoaching.com/SOO. That was your cosmic slap on the booty. Now let's start selling your offer.